And 3, 2, 1, boom! And we're back in another episode of Socratic Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zen Real Clothing Co. Pick your tees and or other items. I keep on saying tees, but like I forget we have like hoodies, stickers, iPhone cases. Anyways, yeah, pick them up at zenrealclothingco.com and use the code SG Podcast for 20% off select items. Okay, so this is it's kind of delayed, I guess, because this series came out a month ago.
Yeah, December, yeah.
Yeah, December. So it's more than a month. It's February now.
Well, from when it was released, I guess it was like... Well, yeah, it is February. Never mind.
Yeah. So it was a little delayed, but I finally got through the full series. I'm not a binge champ like Vish over here, who finished the series pretty fast. But we're doing a Witcher review. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just like all reviews, we'll score it, talk about it, score it again, see if we swayed our opinion. Vish, you go first. What's your score?
If I can remember at the time when I did watch it, I did really like it. Maybe I don't know, 7.5.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you're a big fan of it, so I was like, okay, like I'm assuming like an 8 or a 9.
I was thinking that, but I don't know. Like I can't, I guess it, after some time of settling in, like, but I still like it. I don't. Can it be better? Yeah. I mean, there are probably, like, I can't remember the things, but like, there's probably things like it's a Netflix thing. It's a show, right? It's not like a movie, so it's like the budget isn't there, but like something.
So there's like missing part. Yeah, totally. Like graphics, you could definitely see.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. So my score, I'm in the beginning, I gave it a 4. Mm-hmm. I didn't finish episode 1, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like give it some time. But by the end of it, I'm giving it an 8.
Oh,
so it's an 8. That's why I was shocked when you said 7.5, because I was like, okay, I'm giving it an 8. So when you said 7.5, I'm like, wow, how did I score that higher than you?
I don't know. Maybe I'm giving.
You're being like very pragmatic or sparse with your points there.
Maybe.
All right, so you brought up the Netflix thing, it having a budget.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not like an HBO, because HBO spends like millions and millions of dollars per episode, like Game of Thrones, for example. Like the quality for HBO shows, I was gonna say movies, but their shows are like there.
Yeah.
But I feel like Netflix is entering the ring.
Yeah.
It's starting to like put out movies.
This is kind of a show that requires a bigger budget, like.
But I feel like you can. Well, you did have like a A-list actor there in Henry Cavill. That was shocking.
Well, he wanted that role. So like the thing with Henry Cavill is he plays the game.
Okay.
And he was like pushing for wanting that role.
Oh, that's so fascinating.
Yeah. So
that's so fascinating. So it's like, because I was like, how did they get Henry Cavill? Damn, bro.
He was the one, like, when he found out that they were wanting to make one, he was trying to get in there.
He's like, please let it be me. That's cool, because like the passion's there. He'll like being the guy.
Yeah. I think he's played this game that I'm playing right now. If you're watching on YouTube.
He's a gamer?
Yeah, he played The Witcher.
Huh? Didn't know that.
Yeah,
well, like you did allude to it, but to play Witcher.
Yeah.
Like. Even
RPG type of thing.
Yeah, even I didn't play Witcher. Yeah. I like played a little bit of them. Like, well, this is gonna time suck me, bro. So I'm just not gonna do that.
Right.
Yeah. But so he's alongside a bunch of actors that aren't like big celebrities.
Yeah, no, a lot of them looks like they're from Europe, but like
True. Yeah. I
think that's where did they film it there? I guess they did.
Maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so even in the beginning, so the reason why I give it a 4 in the beginning is like you can tell that there is definitely some quality issues there. Like the initial monster, I was like, nah. And then the his like when he goes into like his demon mode, I was like, it's kind of like weirdly fake as well. Like the graphics aren't there. They don't have the money for the graphics, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. The costumes for me were kind of like, they're a little corny. The fight scenes were okay.
Right.
But the reason why I'm like really being super negative on it. But the thing that got me and why I'm giving it an 8 is it felt like an RPG.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
so like when I first started, I was like, I don't get what these characters are. I had little hope for the actual storyline, but then as it progressed, I'm like, oh, I understand how the game works now through this show. Because I didn't even understand the whole Witcher game. Like so, there's a random guy. Is there a main story? But there's so many sub stories, so you're kind of like, what is this game about?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is a general story, but like this game takes what, hundreds of hours to beat,
Yeah.
right? And it's like because there's so many side missions, and you're like, well, why would there be so many side missions? And then you find out that the Witcher is like a mercenary,
Yeah.
so it's basically his job.
Yeah. It's his job. Yeah.
So and then through watching the show, it made me want to play the game. Which incidentally, we saw the spike increase, right?
Oh yeah. The number of people playing the game was like it became, I think, number one on Twitch or something like that. Like it was up there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Makes sense though, because like after watching the show, even I wanted to play the game because I was like, oh wow, you're really just like living these like short episode lives, but then there's like a general narrative that's going on. Like, all right, so basically the show is about him. Spoiler alert! It's about him trying to find what's her name, Siri.
Yeah.
But in that, there's all these like side stories, like him and Yennefer, and like him like trying to make money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So basically, is that what a Witcher is? A Witcher is a mercenary.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But then why?
But they're generally there to kill, like their job is to kill monsters, right?
Right. And then remember in the ending of the show, he's like, only 3 out of 10 boys survive the trials. So I'm like, why did they have to make it so intense? Like they're governed by not like a king or anything. They're just mercs.
Yeah, but they, in order,
is it like the brotherhood is so intense, or like how does that work?
Yeah, I think it's just the training is that way. That I like, where did they get the white hair? Right, where does that? I'm not sure. Well, all of them have white hair.
Oh, true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So I think that's true. And then like
Vesemir.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's like I think the second season is because it alluded to that his childhood in this one, and I don't know much about his childhood at all.
So it's gonna go into that, you think?
I think it'll go into that. Yeah, I think they'll introduce it that way, where he then becomes trained by Vesemir.
And okay, they're gonna show his like
maybe he's then gonna train her, or I don't know if Vesemir will be. I think they'll be adding Vesemir into this. Well, they have to, but
yeah, because he kept saying so. Like Vesemir is the Witcher's trainer.
Yeah, the Geralt's trainer. Yeah, not necessarily all Witchers.
And that was interesting that he was saying like Geralt's not even his real name. He was given that by Vesemir.
Yeah.
So there's so much depth to this show, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, it's because it comes from the books.
Right. Okay.
So when it comes from the books, and what they were focusing on in the show, I believe, were like there were just mentions in the short stories, like they weren't like that explained. So they wanted to focus more of it in the show and flourish it more, like they knew of Yennefer's backstory and how she used to look like, so that they focused on that, and then like how they trained and everything. So they didn't show all that.
It's like a very giant world.
Yeah.
You know, when you get invested in The Witcher, it's like there's so much what do you call it, like lore, so much like stories that you can like read about and like find out, you know.
Right.
That's what it got me. It felt like I was in a world. You know? Midway through, like I had to get to like episode 3 or something, but by then I was really into it, and like I became invested to find out more.
Right.
Except for that one episode when they got into like the love story between Yennefer and Geralt. Yeah. I wasn't into that. That was so corny. Okay. And I almost turned it off, and then you assured me that it would be better. Yeah. So then I kept watching, and it ended off strong. So that was the only thing. That one episode. I personally don't like that like corny love story stuff. You know? But it reminded me of like Assassin's Creed, the pirate one. Have you played the pirate one?
I think I watched you play.
It was like the first open world one, and so I just really like those open world video games because it's sort of like
Mm-hmm.
you're being thrust into this reality
Right.
that's like if I had VR goggles,
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually be in like a new world. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
even
yeah,
like the
yeah.
escapism is there,
Yeah.
the option for escapism, and it felt like the show really presented that escapism well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
It,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it didn't
Yeah,
feel.
it
It
did.
didn't feel
Yeah.
like. It didn't feel like it was half-heartedly done. It felt like everything was meaningful.
Yeah. I think it does bring you into the world. It kind of explains like what's in this
Wait,
world.
quick pause.
Yeah.
I just noticed that because you're playing the video game,
Yeah.
Ciri and Geralt have the exact same scars.
Mm-hmm.
Same two scars, one over the head and one over the eye. What does that allude to?
I don't know.
Yeah, right. All right. So, anyways, continue, Bish.
What was I saying? I don't remember now.
The fleshed out worlds were in.
Yeah. So it kind of like you learn more about the world with the way they built it. Like each episode was something different,
Okay. Yeah.
and then they focus more on that character.
Yeah.
And then build the story around.
You got to know about like how the mages, like their reality.
Yeah.
A Witcher's reality.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So like, there's so much depth here that you can access.
Right.
That's why I like the show.
Yeah.
You know, in comparison to like Mandalorian, let's say, I couldn't even finish the last two episodes. Like, it just got so corny. At least Witcher had like some realism, some gore.
Right.
Had the nudity, so it was like, okay, you're being serious. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a cheese fest. You know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Like
I like them both.
Mandalorian, I mean.
I like them both. Yeah.
But I mean, in comparison to one or the other, which one do you like better?
Well, Witcher, because I do have more of a backing to Witcher. Like
Right.
I don't like Star Wars as much as.
I love Star Wars. So
Yeah,
that's why I was
yeah.
excited for it, right?
Yeah. So like I don't as much. Like I'm not something that's crazy
But-
about Star Wars, but I.
Objectively speaking, I
Yeah.
was turned off by
Yeah.
the Mandalorian,
Right.
Because it was so corny.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially you're a mercenary, bro. So like a Witcher and a Mandalorian are both mercenaries, and
Mhm.
one is just super cheesy, and one is like badass. Yeah.
Right.
You know, like
right.
Geralt's badass.
I think the thing, like between all these three characters, the three main ones, which are Yennefer, Geralt, and Ciri,
Mm-hmm.
they're all come from a troubled past.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
that's
sure,
what makes them all connect.
So the thing I liked about this show is like the twists. I love
Right.
shows that give you a bait and twist.
Mm-hmm.
Bait and switch. Sorry. So like you thought in the beginning that it was all one linear timeline, then you find out like no, they're actual intersecting
Yeah.
timelines. That was amazing.
So that's what I liked about that. I kind of thought that too, but I just didn't know where exactly in the timeline it was.
right.
But I did like that aspect where by the end now you've come to the same timeline.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
And they all like intersect, and then
Yeah.
they had those scenes that like in the first episode. I think it was the first episode, right? Where they were playing the game.
The kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the second last episode, those merged together, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
and that's why she
So
looked
Witcher-
over in that
yeah, yeah,
corner because
yeah.
she could feel
Yeah. So Witcher was there when they attacked the castle
right.
and stuff, and she was there, but then she didn't know what was going on.
And then I like how they left the series on a cliffhanger, where it's like they finally met up, like they hadn't seen each other, met each other. They finally met up, and then she asks, "Who's Yennefer?"
That's the only last question. And then
That
it
was
ends.
awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's the question she asks.
Yeah,
It's
right.
funny.
Like no, but it's cool too because it's like
Yeah.
okay,
No,
all of their
yeah.
paths are intersecting.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And then they started to bring in Vesemir, so it's like, okay, where is this all gonna go?
Mhm.
You know, she's still young.
Mhm.
And you did say the thing about the white hair, because now I'm looking at Ciri. In the show, she had blonde hair, and Geralt as a kid had black hair,
Yeah.
but they all have white hair now. you
Yeah.
know? It's fascinating.
Mhm. So there's still lots more to learn about that world.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what it feels
totally.
like.
So there's like,
Well, that feels
Wait,
like it is.
there's like the dwarf world that they brought. It, you know what it feels like? It feels like Lord of the Rings. Because Lord of the
Mhm.
Rings had so much, even though I couldn't finish the third movie, still, like even to this day, I haven't watched it because it's so boring.
Right.
But like, it's sort of like that. It feels like that to me.
Yeah.
Like the J.R.R. Tolkien world, where it's like you have the Hobbit series, and then you have like the Lord of the Rings, and that's all the same world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it kind of feels like that,
yeah.
right? It's like
it's a mixture. It's got the Lord of the Rings, but it's also got the Game of Thrones
totally
grittiness,
Yep.
the harshness of the world.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like even though it's like Witcher does all that. Like he's a merchant and or not merchant. He's like he fights mercenary. He fights monsters, but no one also likes him. They don't want him around. And
yeah, it's fascinating. So like, so then you want to find out more, but like they introduce like the dwarves, the dragons, the mages, the witchers.
Yeah.
So like you think that like if you play the game or you like first look at it, you're like, okay, so the witchers are probably like the main characters, right? They're the most powerful, the main characters. You find out no, a witcher is one thing in a series of other things.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Which I really like that about the show. It's like different races, sort of like, you know, like white people, Asians, and all that stuff. You know, like it felt like very thoughtful.
Right.
It wasn't like we just brought this thing in here for.
I mean, what's interesting is it's a Polish story, right? It's from Poland, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
I believe the author was Polish.
Or
somewhere around that area.
Is he the next J.R.R. Tolkien?
Well, I mean, Witcher's been around for a long time, right?
Oh, really?
I mean, the game I'm playing is number 3, so they have 1 and 2 out. That was way back long ago.
But were they good? Like,
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, at the same time too, I do like the fact that there's so much depth to this. The game I'm saying now, because like it takes hundreds of hours to beat. But at the same time, it's like very daunting. You're kind of like, do I really want to play this game? You know,
right? Let's not do that here.
Options. But yeah, so.
So that's also in the game. So it's
it's very, very real, very raw. But like if you think about it, like things back then were very raw as well.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like so, I feel like in society now we just keep like adding more and more barriers between ourselves and our nature. It's almost like the more barriers we place, the more elevated we feel as a species. Yeah. You know, but if you go back then, it's like they had less barriers. There was like less things inhibiting them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that the show captured that really well. Like life and death was so easy back then. Like you could just die for nothing. Right. You know? But now dying is like such a huge thing in society, right? Yeah.
So like Netflix was looking for something like a Game of Thrones. I feel like this is
their Game of Thrones.
This is their Game of Thrones.
Hopefully, I mean, we
don't know. I mean, it's too. It is.
You're like, oh man,
it is too early to say because you got to see how season 2 goes and everything.
Totally. Yeah.
But they're already looking at making like a film anime. They say, but I don't know.
That's cool.
Or a cartoon or whatever it is. So like they're really trying to.
When is the second one coming out?
Well, they're filming it now, or at least pre-production is happening now.
Awesome, that's great.
If you're watching Henry Cavill's
IG
stuff, yeah.
Okay, I gotta follow that guy now.
Yeah.
Keep up with you.
And yeah, I mean, I think they like to toss the coin to the like that song became big.
Yeah.
I was like listening to it yesterday. Yeah. So it's like the Game of Thrones theme. It's like they're trying to make it, you know. They want this thing to be to catch on. Like a cultural thing.
Yeah. I think I might even play this game after I beat Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay, this is so long. Okay, I got this game back in at least a few years ago, and I still haven't finished it.
Yeah, I still haven't finished it, yeah. Because it's so, like, daunting, man.
Yeah, it is. There's so many other... There was other games that came out that took up the time, and then I'm coming back to it now.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can finish this before PS5 comes out.
But like it's really the show that brought the interest back, you know?
Yeah, it's the show, yeah.
Because then you're like you grow an affinity towards the characters, you know, because of the show.
Yeah, and I liked it because like playing the game, I learned more about the characters, and watching them in the show, like seeing a bit more of the story that I didn't hear about before.
So, but is it all canon though, or no?
What do you mean?
Like, is the show link up with the game?
not necessarily, no. Because this is like the show, like the game right now. I'm also looking for Siri. It's like the same thing as this show.
But no, but like you already trained Siri.
Yeah, no, like it's already done, right? Though that part is done. I don't know what was in Witcher 1 and 2, the game.
Right, yeah.
So I can't, that's why I can't really say how much it is to the show. But I heard that, well, when they were interviewing and stuff, they were saying it's different from the game, like where they're focusing on a story that's from in the past. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like,
no, but it can be different from the game, but is it linked up? Like, can we watch Witcher and be like, okay, that did happen in the past?
Well, there isn't anything in the past necessarily here, right?
No, but their relationships, right?
Oh, the relationships are there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So they're the Dandelion, that's the guy that did the song. Mm-hmm. He's in the game.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, the characters are all there because it's the whole world that he built. It's in here, but like I don't know what happened in 1 and 2, but they're not exactly together in here.
Right.
But you do come across Dandelion. As I was looking for Siri in the game, we found him and asked him about it. Right. So like it's like that. So they're
Is this the game? I can't remember because it could have been a while ago. But is this the game where you can run with your horse from one end of the world to the other, or one end of the map to the other?
Yeah.
Like it's so large.
Yeah, it's very, very large.
Okay.
Like it doesn't.
Oh, I think this is the game where the person did that whole like run through. Yeah. And it was like 46 minutes of him like on the horse.
I think so.
Remember you showed me that a long time ago?
Maybe. Yeah. It's a long. Yeah.
But it's like a very big open world. It's like a real open world.
Yeah. It's an open world.
Yeah. That's cool. So, what did you hate about the show?
No, I mean it was the certain graphics here and there that kind of like pull you away from the show or pull you away from the world. Mm-hmm. It's just like it. I get it. I mean there are these budget constraints for these kinds of shows. I guess it is a new thing for Netflix. Maybe there'll be a bigger budget this season.
But think about how much money they make per month. You know, I mean, they make like a lot of money.
Yeah, but they make so many different shows too.
Sure, that's true.
Yeah, so it's like, I think the next one they will have a little bit more of a budget. Like there were like the dragon scenes.
Oh, that kind of corny.
Yeah, it was like I didn't really feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the same episode that you didn't like.
Right.
But it's like, how much can you really do with that? And like, I wanted to see, there are other powers that he has in the game that they didn't really show.
Right.
In the show, maybe because they're just like kind of building up to it. Like if you throw everything at the audience, they might get confused or they don't understand how this works.
Right. They don't get the context.
Yeah.
So what'd you like about the show? Like, what was your favorite part?
It was like just seeing those characters that I was playing the game and seeing them in like interact in a different time, a different world. Well, not in a different world, but like a different like scenario, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's the fleshed out.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I know who Siri is, or it's like, or like learning about her actual full name, what her full name is.
Cirilla,
yeah. It's totally. Like, oh, and she was an actual.
It was like plot twist.
She was a princess.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was a princess. And I was like, oh, okay. So like her background and stuff.
And then you can hop on the game and like go more contemporary, more to like the present time.
Yeah.
Because that was all back then. Right?
Yeah, that's right. And then seeing Yennefer, because Yennefer is quite a lot in the game too. Mm-hmm. And you do come across her quite a bit. So it's like. It's the same kind of thing. It's just
like the show, right?
It's like the show, exactly like the show, yeah.
You thought
they have that connection, but they will never be together, kind of thing.
And what was that line? They said like, people who are destined together will always find their way, something like that.
Yeah. But like they still have that kind of thing that's in the show, but also they're not together. Like it just can't. They won't be. But then there's like so in the game there's a lot more other love interests that I think they'll go into second season.
Oh, there's different love interests for The Witcher?
Yeah.
No, really?
There's other witches like Triss or someone else like that.
He loves them as well?
Yeah. I mean, he's like a player, so it's like...
Oh, okay, I see.
Something like that. So like, I think those will be involved in the... I'm not sure if they mentioned or showed them here, but like they will be mentioned probably coming in the second season and stuff, other people.
Cool.
I'm interested to see who they get for Vesemir. Yeah.
Is there any hints right now?
I think there was, but I can't remember at the moment. There was like when they were starting to do. Was it him or?
I don't know.
Oh no! The rumor was the Luke Skywalker guy.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't remember that, but I'm not
kinda
sure if that was a real one. But like, yeah, I remember something like that. Like, would he be a good Vesemir? Like, I don't know.
Oh, was it Mark Hamill?
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
name. Yeah, Joker. Also, he does Joker's voice.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like he's.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because I think he did tweet something about it, but I wasn't sure.
He's like, I would be that guy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So I'm interested to see who they like where it goes next, and like they do have to show like Vesemir and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to find, like to really go into still. Yeah.
Is it going to be like years from now, or do you think they're going to come out with a season like
this year?
This year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna. They did it very quickly, even season 1. So like, even though like I knock it on the graphics, but it's like I might have to change my score, but like they did film it very quickly. Like if you remember, like when they announced it,
yeah,
they filmed it, finished filming, and they're like, it's going to be released by the end of the year or end of that year.
Right.
I was like, how is that possible?
Right.
And yes, they did it. So
yeah, we might get to see it soon.
Yeah,
which is great.
Mm-hmm. Well, not soon in the sense like it will be this year, probably the same time.
What I really like, and
like end of the year.
When we were watching, there's a podcast about like Netflix's like business model,
mm-hmm.
and I think it was Netflix versus Blockbuster. I think it was like the Business Wars podcast, and basically they weren't sure about the whole like binge watching thing.
Yeah,
but I really like that they do that. You know.
Yeah. I mean, now
when you drop it all at once, like I didn't like that you had to wait every week for Game of Thrones, and then they'd skip a week, and you're like, oh my god, bro.
I don't think they ever skipped a week, but I think there might have been. But there is a reason. There is a like a reason for both, because with having it coming out release 1 week at a time,
mm-hmm.
that
you put quality.
It's not necessarily the quality. It's also about getting the name out continuously for like what 10 weeks.
Oh, true.
For 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Versus like with Netflix
it's
thing is
one
like
and done. Yeah, totally.
Probably it'll last for like 2 weeks and then people move on to the next thing.
True.
So it doesn't bring back more people. Mm-hmm. It just sticks with the same people.
Right. For like I get what you're saying.
But I think what they're doing is also like they're doing these things on Netflix YouTube page. I wonder how much that stuff works. But like we watched recently, like how they make the stuff.
So yeah, they release like featurettes.
Yeah, and
like
I do
DVDs
exactly. Yeah, and I like those sort of things, and that kind of like bring you back into like the show as well.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I wanted to see that part again or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the one they had out recently with the fight scene. It's very interesting to find out that they don't actually use a full sword.
Oh yeah, it's a half sword.
It's a half sword.
So fascinating.
And it's like how they do it, and when you watch the video, it makes sense because some of those movements don't make sense.
Right.
With the real sword.
Right. I like too because like they could make like the stabbing scenes. You know, like. Because if it was a full sword, it's like, how are you getting the sword through the body?
Yeah.
But then they could show it because it's a fake sword. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. But like that's, I mean, those are VFX stuff you don't even realize are VFX stuff.
Totally, yeah, for sure.
Which are I got to give some points to, right?
Yeah, true.
Because you wouldn't have known that.
The fight scenes were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your final score?
I'm gonna bump it up.
Okay. So what?
8.5.
Wow. All right. I was about to say I'm gonna give it 8.5.
Like thinking about it again.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Because
I agree. 8.5.
Even though it's like the budget is there, the time constraint was there, that they did a really good job in the time that they filmed and released it.
Totally.
So I gotta kind of remembering those things as we talk about it. So yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give it 8.5 too. Definitely worth checking out. I would say give it till at least episode 3 before you are like, nah, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
Because like for me, it was hard for me to continue.
Right. I wonder how much it is for like people who have never like or don't know about the world. Right.
Totally.
So like I was into it from episode 1 because I knew the characters.
Right. The opening scene made me want to turn it off. I was like, this is so lame. But again, it's one of those like slow, and then if you take the time
I think
to,
that was like
watch it,
yeah. I think even
you become a fan.
Yeah. I think even I'm not sure if the guy that we watched that reviews it said the same kind of thing. Like,
oh really?
Just
give it some time.
Yeah, like it's like think of it like a long movie or something.
Yeah, totally.
It's all like in one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't give it the first episode and be like, because like I totally didn't. It's The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
The Witcher's here. I totally wasn't like sold.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like I was, because well, if you play the game,
you have the backstory, right?
I have
so
the
like,
backstory,
you like the
exactly.
I didn't have all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm wondering, like, but overall, it's been
now
because
really now I'm like invested in the character, so I want to see season 2. I want to play the video game.
I like what Netflix, because I think this show came out also like as Mandalorian was like coming to an end or something, and then
no way, really? Eh?
Yeah, and they were like saying like how Witcher is it's way more popular. It's been Google searched more than Mandalorian.
That's funny.
Like they're trying to do all these sort of like tricks.
But
these
I would agree. I mean, I would agree that.
Yeah, but also
take the time for whichever.
Yeah, but no. It's a good way. Good thing for competition wise what they're doing. But like if you look at the actual like facts of how it works, like not everyone has Mandalorian. Because Disney Plus not even out worldwide, so it makes sense.
Clever marketing. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Skewing the data.
Exactly.
I love that about statistics. You can just like take the ones you want and you just have to frame it.
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't know that Disney Plus is not out in every single country like Netflix is, then that would make sense.
Totally. Marketing matters. Framing. Yeah. All right. So definitely check out Witcher. It'll be worth your time.
Yeah.
I
think it's really good. Yeah, I really love the timeline thing. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that was a great. See, Mandalorian didn't have that.
No, Mandalorian just cycled back to this beginning of where it started.
Boo! Plot spoiler. I didn't watch that yet. So.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you said you're on the last episode.
Yeah,
the last 2, right?
Yeah, last 2 I can.
So basically, he just goes back to the same place where he started.
Oh, but not like in the beginning of time, right? Like it's like a
no, like where he in Mandalorian where he went to, he brought the chips, like where he got the thing to go find Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And then he came back to the same spot where he ends up fighting against the troopers, whatever.
So like the story didn't circle back.
Well, kind of, because he comes back to work with the same guy.
No, but I mean like. In the timeline.
In the world, yeah.
In the timeline,
yeah.
Whereas this one, the timeline, like
yeah. I there was complaints by people. I'm like, I didn't think it was. I don't know why people are complaining, but like people are like confused, like where it is. But I think that's what you're supposed to be thinking.
Yeah, totally. I was like that. I was like,
yeah, and I like that aspect.
Linking up, and you find out it links up, and you're like, oh,
yeah. When you find out where it links up and how it was linking up, it's like, oh, that's cool.
And then it makes you want to watch it again because you're like, what did I miss?
Yeah,
the first time that they were telling me the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So like series was always the normal timeline, and then Witcher was the past.
Yeah. And
same thing with Yennefer was the past.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
definitely check it out. All right. Till next time. We got like we gotta call ourselves a Witcher over here because demons are just about. All right. Till next time.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.